Welcome back to another episode of WJAG-TV.
Today we'll talk about fights at Cedar, check out Mama's Boy, and learn more about the music technology class.
As well as find out more about the art classes tribute to the students at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School.
Jag Nation rockin' orange with the blue on the scene. Pride of the east side, y'all wish y'all could compete. Who got the juice? Yeah. Who got the juice? Yeah. Knowledge is the tour, meet me at the school. Who got the juice? Who got the juice? Knowledge is the tour, meet me at the school.
My name is Colin Frick.
And my name is Olivia Duver.
And this is WJAG-TV with your weekly school news.
Even though they don't occur as often as they used to, fights at Cedar still create more problems than they solve. Let's go to Solomon Jones and Atlanta Gorshin with the story.
Conflicts such as fistfights and rushing crowds happen sometimes during public schools. People often feel the need to glorify these conflicts and put them on social media. Atlanta Gorshin and I dove deeper into this matter by asking our fellow peers and teachers their opinions on this.
If you're doing the fight, you know, for you. To show people, yeah, to spread it around, yeah, and keep it for history.
I've never felt urged to go record a fight because to me, fighting and hurting other people isn't something that should be laughed about or made normal.
High school students have been raised in technology. Example, like when any student was born now, they've already know about cell phones or have had cell phones since they've been at an early age. So I think just the fact that technology is so advanced that it has become a part of students' life to the point where it's kind of second nature.
The bystanders are the ones who actually are at most risk, because if you're videotaping a fight, the last thing you think is it might turn on you or someone might bump into you unexpectedly. But the fact that you would not help, but you would actually videotape, you know, two people getting injured, I sort of have an issue with that. Society sometimes plays a role that it's okay to do this, but if the bystanders were not to be recording and or by, I think the situation could be de-escalated quicker.
I've been in situations where we're breaking up fights and there's been people with videos saying hit her or do this, or you know, just kind of instigating. So I think it's hard to get to a fight to maybe save a student from injury when you get everyone in the way kind of videotaping.
I have been walking to class and there's a huge fight that broke out, and one of the administrators actually shoved me out of the way and I almost fell down the main staircase. When everybody congregates around these two individuals fighting, or however many it is, it's a potential safety threat. You're too busy paying attention to who's fighting who. Well, other people could be affected.
So one of the things that gets me about the pervasiveness of social media and the way everybody wants to run up and record a fight is the nature of what we're dealing with perception versus reality of our public schools here in Clark County. It's maddening to think that there are people out there that would be their justification as why they wouldn't want their child in Clark County schools. There's some parent of a child that's going to go to Athens Academy, or maybe even a parent who's not sure what school their child's going to go to, that may see that and say, well, that's the reason why my kid's not going to Clark County schools.
Because everyone records fights, so everyone else wants to do it. And so when freshmen come to the school, they want to be like the old people in this school.
Because it catches people out, like, a fight happening, like they don't want to do work probably. They probably don't want to see the fight. I mean, they're in it, then what it is.
I think that's on child. Period. Facts.
So when I see a group of students, you know, going to film violence per se, nothing good comes from that. The recordings, someone could get hurt, someone could get something lost or stolen or broken, and that just creates other problems. And so if there's any kind of regulation on who posts, if they were to get in as much trouble as the people participating in the act, that might tame it a little. If we were to change our mindset and say, you know, we're in an educational institute, and while I'm here, I'm going to get every ounce of information from my experts, the teachers, then I think that we'd have a much safer place, because everyone would then focus on themselves and also their future.
Violence isn't a joke, and it's actually happening around our country, and people die every day. And it's a very serious matter, and they make it into a joke.
So we have all these fantastic things going on in Clark County schools. We have Willie Craddock publishing novel or book after book. We've got students writing songs. We've got students doing wonderful things in athletics and the arts. But these things get circulated on social media, and this becomes our identity. And it's definitely not us, but it's what we're putting out there.
Thanks, Elena and Solomon. Mama's Boy has stood as an iconic restaurant for over 12 years. With the opening of a second location, Dominic Bielli and I had a chance to check in on the expanding business. Open from 7 to 2:30 and serving some of the best food in town, Mama's Boy has been a top brunch location since its opening in 2006. We interviewed Brent Jacobs to see how business has been.
We're busiest on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The slower days of the week are, of course, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, probably Tuesday being the slowest day. Historically, Tuesday is the slowest day in the industry overall. Well, originally we were open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And at the time the restaurant opened, almost 12 years ago, this neighborhood was not as established as it is now. And it was, people were reluctant to come to this part of town at night. And so the restaurant just evolved over time into the breakfast lunch place it is now.
The fence separating Mama's Boy from the land next door, owned by Mama's Boy's neighbors, has caused confusion in the past. I was curious to see how this has been affecting business. How does the fence affect your restaurant?
It affects us in a very positive way in that it separates the other gentleman's property from ours. Before the fence was here, his complaint was that our customers who were waiting on a table were on his property. So that solved that problem. We get families, but mostly our business is probably business people. We get a lot of college students, sorority girls, and fraternity guys. But it's mostly, I would say it's mostly people associated with UGA, staff, faculty, students, along with a lot of locals that live here in the area. You know, we try to make everybody feel like they've been here several times, even if they haven't. I mean, the plan overall is to keep expanding slowly, and so that we can still control the quality of the product. So when the chance to open the one on Macon Highway came along, and it was a new build, we could spec it out just like we wanted to do it. It seemed like a good opportunity.
With the original location having been around for about 12 years, Mama's Boy has chosen to increase their food production by double. On October 12, 2017, Mama opened a second location on the Macon Highway. We interviewed Josh Segrass to see how they've been thriving.
We've been open here about 4.5 months. Our original location is, we'll turn 12 in July.
How did the community respond when this Mama's Boy opened?
It was very warm. I mean, the reception was good. Most people are really loving the parking lot. Like I said, we get more of the rural families. They have to drive less. Since we have more tables, the wait time is less on the weekend, and they can get in quicker and get out quicker.
What makes this location different from the other location?
I would have to say the parking access. Obviously the view is nice, and we just have more patio seating. Definitely get a more family-oriented clientele here, being closer to Oconee County than you know, UGA. You know, the parking lot's 10 times the size of the original location, so that helps out a lot. Customers, we on average do a greater number of customers, but we do also get more families, like I said earlier. So children, a lot of the times, if people have families with multiple kids, they'll come here as opposed to the other place just because there is more room. We do get some folks that don't want to wait over at the downtown location that will come here, but usually they'll just come straight away here. Like I said, we get a lot of the 5 Points business, a lot of Athens Academy folks, and a lot of Oconee County folks. The downtown still gets mostly university, you know, the students, and kind of the downtown crowd.
Do you think that this summer, with the warmer weather and more people going to the beach, do you think that you'll get more business as a result of that?
Maybe a few tables, but usually on the weekend when everybody's kind of off, we're pretty busy anyway. So I think that it might help with the wait time. Maybe it will help with business, but not in the way that you think. It won't bring people to us. It'll just give them something to do while they're waiting for the table.
With both locations teeming with happy customers and delicious food, Mama's Boy only looks to keep expanding.
Music technology is a new class at Cedar Shoals centered on using computers to make music. I had the chance to find out more.
Music technology is a new class at Cedar this year. It is taught by Mr. Grant and Miss Wilmot.
We learn a lot about songwriting, music theory, how to take what we have in our head and create it on a computer.
We make beats, and it's kind of like, it's like music theory. We learn a lot of music theories like piano, simple beat techniques, how to do shortcuts and all that.
While being a class centered on making music, music tech is not your typical fine arts class.
It's not a traditional fine arts class. We don't really do concerts. I know a lot of people actually that didn't do band because they were scared of playing in front of other people. But it's like this, you're doing it yourself. And except for the case of the project we're doing right now where we're working with a partner to create a song. But it's like, if you take the class, you have a chance to learn stuff about music because we spent like the first month and a half doing music theory. So we understand kind of how the music works and why it sounds the way it sounds. But it's just so crazy because it's like, it's so different and you get the fine arts experience without having to perform in front of other people.
Even though music tech is non-traditional, it allows a lot of creative freedom.
We have set projects and everything that give us guidelines as to what we're supposed to do, but it's not like restricting our sound and how we want to put it.
Like it has to be a certain length, we have to use a certain number of instruments, but he's never given us like you have to use this specific sound. He's given us instruments to teach us how to use different effects, but overall, like, we have so much freedom. Nobody's song is going to be the same. They all sound so different, and you can see the unique talent in everybody in the class.
These range of talents can be seen on SoundCloud.
It's kind of the standard for artists at the beginning level to be able to get their music out there, and you can share with anybody on the planet. We do look at it almost every class just to see where we are with our stats, and it does get pretty competitive between some of the students. And sometimes, you know, we have groups that collaborate together and they'll get competitive too. So it's there, but we're mainly just having fun with it.
Now let's hear from some of the students.
The song I just posted on SoundCloud 2 weeks ago, there's like a glass marimba, a lot of the song, and it just kind of reminded me of like a farm, kind of. I don't know, it just made me think of farm animals. And everybody's talking about being the goat, and I know it's not the same thing, but I was just like, I'm gonna name this Nah, I'm the Goat, because I am the goat.
Our first project was our midterm. We had to make a song that was between 2 and 4 minutes long, and we worked on it for like 2.5 months almost. And I mean, I put so much work into that, and he had made a comment about how we talked about some conspiracy theories too much. And so I made my entire midterm project about the Mandela effect.
Have you ever heard about the Berenstain Bears? No, you haven't. They don't exist. Have you ever heard about the Berenstain
And finishing that project, I had like the biggest smirk on my face when I turned it into Mr. Grant, because he knew I was making it weird, but he didn't know exactly what it was yet. And it's something that I just felt really proud of myself, especially since it was the longest thing I had ever produced. And to look at that and be like, I did this, and the fact that I could do it because Mr. Grant's a pretty relaxed, cool teacher on stuff like that was really fun for me.
Students who take this class next year can expect a lot more.
In the future, we're going to be getting a lot more equipment, building basically multiple recording studios in our classroom. And that's the plan. We just hope that it expands and keeps getting bigger and bigger, and we sound better and better. I'm really happy that it's here. It's a great class.
And don't forget,
go check out our SoundCloud and listen to my song titled Nah, I'm the Goat.
Now for your sports news.
That are a rough start to the season, but they were able to beat our rivals, Clark Central. They have increasingly gotten better throughout the season, and they hope to keep this going.
We wanted to win. Like previous years, we didn't want to win, and we knew we could win this year. The season has gone okay. We could do more improvements, but we've done good so far. Done well at being a team as a whole. We were more together as a team. Like me, myself, I've improved on my hitting a lot better this year. Because my defense was solid last year, and my hitting was kind of, I could improve on that, but I've improved better with that. He's doing good. I mean, obviously he knows us better now compared to last year. He just came in last year and didn't really know who we were. He had to learn who we were and stuff like that. But yeah, we've gotten close to him. Just stay positive, and if something bad happens, just let it go.
Following the tragedy at Parkland High Schools, Miss Johnson and her class worked together to create banners to be sent and hung up at the school. Here's Jake Gunterman with a look into the creation of this project.
Following the school shooting in Parkland, Florida, many students and teachers wanted to find a way to show the students of Marjory, Stoneman, Douglas that we support them. Ms. Johnson orchestrated a project in which students made works of art that we put on large banners and then sent to Parkland, Florida, where they will be hung up at the school.
I was pretty devastated when, just like everyone else, on Valentine's Day when we saw the 17 students get killed. And I wanted to figure out a way to reach out, so I emailed the art teacher at the school, and she was enthusiastic. She said other students from other countries were also doing the same thing, so we decided to go ahead and move forward with it. Students in my advanced classes in my first and second period came up with individual creative responses as a way to show support for what they've been through. I had some students in other classes help create the banner, and we all put it together, and it'll be up for everyone to see. I think that it felt really meaningful, and a lot of students said that this was the only class that they really heard much about it or got to think about it in. So I think giving them that opportunity to reach out was meaningful.
Students who contributed to the banner reflected on events pertaining to the Parkland shooting and how it ties to their art.
I support the March for Our Lives movement because if we don't do anything right now, then the government's not going to do anything because they're not in a rush to try to change anything. It's important for the students to be involved so they can show the country how they felt, because someone who wasn't there wouldn't know how it feels to lose a friend or anything like that.
I want them to see how frustrated we are, like, as students here and at other schools, that the adults who are supposed to be doing their jobs aren't doing their jobs. And but I also wanted to show that we are all, like, grieving with them, like crying for everyone who has died from gun violence.
I kind of wanted to be like a sense of like grieving, and also that we're together with them, because everything in the picture sort of, there's just one main thing in the picture, and I want that to represent like us, like grieving for them, and then us also standing with them and like helping support like the flame and the sort of like movement that all of them have created that's for all of us.
I want people to feel that we're grieving with them, and I also plan to march on April 20th to show that I support everyone that has been affected by gun violence in this world.
I want them to feel that we're grieving as well as them, and I also want them to feel as if they're thought about from other parts of the country. My figure is supposed to show the country grieving, and the tears, or the rain, is the tears of the Parkland students.
Well, I think we want them to feel support. I don't think that we want them to feel our love. I think that we want them to know that we're with them, and want to encourage them to continue being strong.
That seems to be all for today.
My name's Colin Frick.
And my name's Olivia Duver.
And this has been WJAG-TV with your weekly school news.
Who got the juice? Knowledge is the tool, meet me at the school. Who got the juice? Who got the juice? Knowledge is the tool, meet me at the school. Who got the juice? Who got the juice? Knowledge is the tool.